So I haven't done it in a long time, but after you do it and you know your percentages, then you can now go and read about your main archetypes.
Oh, now I've lost it.
Oh, really?
Bloody hell.
Hmm.
Shit. It won't let me go back. I wanted to see.
Did it
I
send
clicked
you?
on one of the things that comes down, the top one, and it won't let me go back to see what my percentages were on the other one, which is just as important, aren't they, than as the top one?
Oh, absolutely. Did it send? Did you receive an email?
No.
No, I didn't either.
Because I thought typically you would receive an email with your percentages so that at least you have it on record. And then you can, go and explore your archetypes.
You have to give them that email. If you don't give them, of course, the email, nothing will come to you. I think I skipped over that step. So immediately afterwards, I, like Allison, lost it.
Oh.
Okay. I gave them my email. And they have that. No, she has sent something. But okay, I'm going to print it. I'm having trouble with my printer. So print it. But the other one, oh God, I hate technology.
Okay, so today, as you can see, I've finished Marianne's dossier.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm the CIA collecting.
You know way too much now.
I know too much.
Yeah.
So obviously I'm waiting for everybody's information to finish, to wrap it up. And what I'm proposing is that we spend time on each person. Hi, Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Sorry, I'm tired. I had to pick up a painting from the framers, so getting.
Good. We missed you on Monday.
I know. I had the plumber come to my house. I had a toilet installed, replaced.
Oh.
So I couldn't be on that call.
Okay. All right. Well, you're here, so. Okay, so let me start over. So I was just saying that the folders that I'm preparing for all of us, I've just been watching the videos and putting what I think is important together, but there's still a lot of gaps to be filled. Okay. And so what I'm proposing is that we spend time on each person, just about 10, 15, whatever it takes, with the hope that by the end of the year, we would have a roadmap. We would feel accomplished. Something to of course, every conversation we have. I mean, going back and watching the videos, every conversation we have has been wonderful. But I feel just to wrap up the year and feel like this is what we accomplished together this year. So I have they're almost done. I'm just waiting for the final positive stuff. We have Marianne. So
I didn't realize I was the only one that was done. I thought you had everybody's done, but that would be quite a task.
Yeah, I have I have all the folders open ready in WordPress. So I just need little bits of information to wrap it up. So by Monday, once I have all the information from you, by Monday. So yes, of course, let's discuss where we all are. Let's start with that. And then if it's okay with you, Marianne, we'll focus on you today.
Well, you have to ask everybody else. Is it okay with
It's
them?
okay. It's okay.
No, I don't agree.
Yeah,
I want it to be about me.
That's fine with me, Allison.
Yeah, so let's just touch base, and then we'll all go to Marianne's folder, and just to let you know, all of us can edit the document.
Oh, where are the folders? On our Facebook page?
I think posted Marianne so far because
Okay.
so we can all open Marianne's folder, and if there's something when we go through, you'll understand
Okay.
what the
Okay.
format is, and then we can. So
Okay.
let's touch base, and then we can focus on Marianne, and
Okay.
then Monday will continue. Okay, so Allison.
Yeah. Okay, well, first of all, I want you all to congratulate me.
Congratulations for what?
I'm trying to do 6 million things at once here. I've just passed level 1 of my degree.
Oh,
Oh,
Super.
congratulations.
congratulations.
Wow, you've been busy.
I know.
Yeah.
You've been doing a lot. That's
Far
impressive.
too much. Far too much. Yeah, crazy. So got that through today. I'm just waiting for my son to tell me because obviously when you're in school, your grades are very, very different to the way they grade when you go to university.
Yes.
So a pass mark in the university is something like 40%. So I'm just waiting for him to come back and tell me what my percentage equates to in numbers, in letters, because I find that easier to say I got an A or a B or a C or a D, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, I passed.
Yay.
Congratulations.
The pass mark I know is 40, and I got 60, but I don't know what that is in letters. So I don't know if it's a B or a C
At least a
moment.
B.
I think it's B. I think
At
it
least.
is. I don't know. It's not an A. A is, I think, is an 80% and over.
Okay.
But I'm not sure how big the bandwidths are. But anyway, I'm pleased. So
Yes.
that's one good thing. What else has happened? I did what you all suggested. I've got in contact with a printer. I'm having notebooks created for this launch to try and increase my audience in January via Facebook advertising. So that's all happening. What else have I done? Still painting the heart. I've had to put forward a design for a pumpkin, which I must admit I really wasn't very pleased about, and I didn't want to do.
Yeah, you said so.
Because I said didn't I? But in the end, I just thought, you know what, just do it.
Okay.
It's a piece of goodwill. It took me not that long, probably less than an hour by the time I'd researched it, drawn it up, whatever. And I just think, she said, oh, I'll pay you for doing it. But I mean, what do I do to her? So I want £100 for that. I mean, that just seems, it all starts to become a bit petty. I just thought, no, just do it, move on. My canvas arrived today. It's in my hallway. It's bloody huge.
Oh, for the 4x8?
It's 2.3 meters by, that's about 8 foot by 4 foot.
Yeah, that's what you said. 8
Yeah.
by 4. Wow.
So that's arrived today. What
Was
else?
it a custom order?
Last night I went and made a wreath. I've really damaged my hand, but never mind.
Uh-oh.
I'm just I've got a pair of secateurs that, you know, there's a safety catch on them. And this thing has a mind of its own. And I squeezed, and the catch had gone back, and I'd squeezed so hard I've actually.
Oh boy.
Never mind. I'm going to be posting that picture on my Facebook this evening. Very pretty. I think what else I've done. That's it. I think. No, don't know. Next person. I don't know what else to
That's
say.
huge, Allison. That's
That's
huge.
great.
Sounds like
I went shopping yesterday. I went charity shop. We have loads of charity shops here. You only seem to have Goodwill in the States.
And Salvation Army.
And we've got Salvation Army, Oxfam, cancer research, Princess Alice. Oh, the list goes on and on and on. And I have this friend who I see only every year, or sometimes only every other year. And I go to her village, which is probably about an hour and a half away from here. And we go charity shopping. So I've bought a jumper for £5, a cardigan for £30. But what I've bought of these 4 really gorgeous prints, beautifully framed, professionally framed, just the kind of thing that I want to do. And my husband said, well, where the hell are we going to put them? They're gorgeous. Yeah. Anyway, that's boring.
Can we see them? Are they close by?
I'll go. Yeah, I can go and grab them. They're in the hall.
It looks like she has a comfortable chair to sit in.
Absolutely. I was thinking the very same thing.
Oh, they're big.
Oh.
Very heavy as well.
Mm.
Oh.
Oh,
Hey, yeah.
Oh,
that's lovely.
nice.
Really nicely framed. I think it's
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh. So were they part of the Goodwill, or are they from the artist?
well, somebody's given them to the equivalent of Goodwill.
Oh, that's
I don't
lovely.
want them. But they're all hand signed,
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
all part of that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like these. They're happy.
Yeah.
I think
are.
Nice.
Wow.
Oh, nice.
so.
And
For £70,
framing always does it, you know?
Sorry?
Mhm.
Framing always just,
Oh yeah, the frames are beautiful.
it's,
The frames are worth
Yes.
more than £20 each.
mhm.
So yeah, I'm very happy.
That's wonderful.
All my colours.
Hmm.
Oh, and I bought lots of art books for literally like $1.
Wow.
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
Right, that one was £1.50.
Who could you? Yeah, let's see. Oh, fantastic!
Well, that's huge, great big volume. And then this
Yeah.
one, which is all about Van Gogh and his letters.
Mm. Oh, wow.
Van Gogh,
Oh,
as
that's
you
a
say
nice
over
book.
there.
Yeah.
175.
Wow.
These are gems.
Fantastic.
So yeah, very fruitful shopping day that was.
Very.
In amongst all that, what else? I can just remember what else has happened. I'm having a row with the tax office because I told them I wanted my business. I wanted to set up. I realise I'm getting close to that point that I've got to start to pay tax. It works very differently here. You have to earn a minimum of £6,000 before you have to pay any form of tax. And then there's another tier, is 11,000. Well, I've not been anywhere near that, but because I've got this commission piece, I just thought, just get it done. Just sign up so that they know that you're trading and you don't get into trouble. So I said I wanted my tax year to be in line with their tax year. Well, they didn't do that. They decided, because the tax year starts on the 6th of April, they put me down as the 1st of April, and now they're bombarding me with forms to fill in to do a tax return for 5 days. It's of the last tax year. And if I don't do it, they're going to fine me £100.
Oh my goodness.
Get over yourselves. I mean, really. So I'm around with them. I'm still having trouble with having been hacked. With people, my credit rating is just on the floor at the moment because so many people are trying to get hold of my, payment from me, and I've told them all to go away. It's been a bit of a nightmare, but I'm not going to let it beat me. I will be quiet now. Somebody else's.
Oh, well, all is well.
It will be.
Yes, all is
It will be.
all right. Thank you. Beata, it's your turn.
I didn't do too many things because I had to deal with family matters, but I visited an art supply shop. So
Oh.
I picked up a few things, even small hearts for Valentine's Days.
Oh.
And what else I did do? Nothing special because I also followed the political protests in Hungary.
Oh, you've had them there as well.
All over Europe.
Well, I knew they got them in France and Germany, but I didn't realise
Yeah.
they got them in Hungary.
Wow.
Yes.
And we're the ones that should be protesting because we're the ones that got
Yes.
serious problems.
Yes. Mhm.
Yes, problems are everywhere.
Well, actually, I think we have big problems.
Oh yeah, but yours are easily
Big
solved.
problem.
One man, one gun, and it'll all be over.
Yeah.
Hush. You never know when Big Brother's listening. I would be
I don't
careful.
care.
I
about
know, that's true.
At this rate.
I'm only saying what millions of other people are saying. I'm not bothered.
Oh, we know, and I would just, it's just don't speak it out loud. My boyfriend is the same thing, and I'm like, be quiet. You never know. He's got what is it? The little Lexus thing that you speak into, and it gives you your temperature and plays music
Oh.
for you. And I told him, I said, I hate having that around because you never know who might actually be listening. And cameras that are in the house because he's paranoid. So I see anybody could be watching. I mean, you just makes me crazy. That too hooked up, way too hooked up.
Yeah.
But you know what? Nobody can put you to death or send you to prison for having an opinion.
That's true.
Yeah.
Especially here.
And
Not
here.
supposed to be able to.
Yeah, especially here.
Yeah.
In other countries, no, but here, land of the free.
I'm with you there, Michelle. Not as free as you like to think you are, but never mind. But we still can't send you to prison for having an opinion.
That's right.
So Beata, did you read the did you read your test results for the archetypes?
Oh. No, I had the same problem as Alison had. So I was waiting for the result email to me, but the email hasn't arrived yet.
Okay.
So if I won't get it, I probably need to go the test.
Well, you posted your percentages, so you have those. So you can just go back to the website and read
I can read
the
them.
individual. Yeah. Once you have your percentage.
Yeah. Because I
we'll discuss them further when we get to your dossier.
Yeah, I'm going to read them.
All right. Well, thank you.
Just one thing, Beata, before you go. I got your replies. I can't open it. What did you send it to me in?
It's a normal Microsoft document, Word document.
Microsoft Word. Okay.
Oh, I'm going to send it again because I did it in Pages, on Mac.
Oh,
and saved it to.
That's the problem. It's coming up looking as if it's a Mac thing, and I don't have a Mac. I only have a PC.
Yeah, but I saved it in a Word document because you can choose in Pages. But probably in that case, it was not properly saved if you can't open it. So I'm going to do it again.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Because I've actually sent it to my husband to say, could he please open it for me and send it back to me? Yeah, he gets things in all sorts of different things, and his computer's not set up to receive everything and convert it easily, whereas mine isn't. So, but thank you. If you can send it to me, that'd
I
be
will
great.
do it again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So Marianne, your turn.
I went on Monday and picked out my date book for this coming year, and I started marking critical dates for the first 3 to 4 months so that I could get my mind around the amount of time that I've got to prep new work and when it has to arrive at the photographer in order to make it to both the spring show and my open studio, which happened around the same time. Spent time preparing it to be able to work in and out of it easily. That usually solidifies something for me rather than it being all out nebulous. I can start to think along the lines of deadlines. I approached the Marie Forleo material again and began to go through it. I also started looking for notes on why and the about page and what was the most important thing you ought to have show up first. I actually went back, this is months ago, I took notes on some of the websites that Alexis had said were good examples. She put them up for us to take a look at, and I took notes on what you saw first, and then the next scroll, what you saw then, to just kind of get a feel for what she thought was a successful layout, so I could start to think about what I need my format to look like. I had put a lot of time into a GoDaddy site, but this is procrastination and not being sure, and knowing I was going to have to tell the gallery I was getting ready to put a shop up and all that. So I just dragged my feet and never launched it. And the things that are the site that GoDaddy has that I put so much time into really is not the kind of format that what Alexis said was going to be more powerful and simple. And, it's that need to connect with them immediately, that putting your own face up in the left-hand side of the page, something so that they can immediately see who you are, and then a statement to the right that doesn't get them in too deep, but is just enough to hook them. That's the first thing that comes up. And so that's sort of where my mindset is right now. What do I prepare for that? And then do I commit to Shopify, which is I saw a shop/blog offering available from Shopify that I thought looked very attractive, very clean and neat. And to me, that's important. It needs to be clean. So I'm investigating all that stuff that I started looking at earlier and trying to pull something together so that I can have something by the 7th of January to give them. Without a doubt, I know exactly what the website, what the domain name is going to be. I own 3 or 4 already, but I've got to transfer one to Shopify or wherever I decide to land this thing. So there's some decisions to be made, but I'm on my way to doing it.
Yeah. I guess having the deadline isn't pleasant, but it helps.
Well, it's not that the stuff isn't all sitting there. It's just organizing it up to make a final, monetary commitment, actually.
Yeah.
Do I pay the Shopify site? Their least expensive one is $30 a month. So it's like, okay, you just made a commitment. And what are you going to do to make that money back and the rest of what you have to make? And thanks to Alexis, I now at least have a clue how much money I really do need to make. Which I may or may not do it, but I know how much it is for a change.
Yeah, that always helps. Yeah. So, well, thank you. I hope when we get to your dossier, it helps organize your things.
Definitely.
Yes.
My son's just come back and told me I've got a 2-1.
A 2-1.
Does that mean anything to you? You get a first, you get a 2-1, you get a 2-2, you get a third, you get a pass, you get a fail.
Sounds like a B+ to me.
Okay, thank you. I love you ever so much.
All right. Thank you, Marianne. So, Michelle, it's your turn.
Yes. I'm still working on the course. I'm very excited about it. And I've got a book to share. I don't know whether I told you. Have you heard of this one?
No.
No.
A big, important art book, now including women.
Oh.
Yes, I've seen that. Yes.
Now with women, rather. Now with
Yes.
women. If you ever listen to the podcast, The Jealous Curator,
Yes.
sometimes she's not my favorite podcast, but nonetheless, she interviews contemporary artists, and it's always interesting. But she's written several books, but this is her latest and greatest, and I love it because they're mostly contemporary women that are much younger than me, but she intersperses some historical women too, Louise Bourgeois, but I'm enjoying that. If you all saw, or maybe you didn't, I'm finally on Instagram.
I saw you and I liked you.
I haven't seen you.
I was so resistant, and it's such a funny thing because it's really no big deal.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
But so I've got to just continue and get into posting at least once a week. But you know what Alexis said about regularity? If I post twice a week, make it a Monday and a Friday thing, or I don't know. I have to figure it out yet. But nonetheless, it'll keep me in action because it'll keep me working on this course as well as painting. And then the other thing I did was I signed up. Did you all get that offer from Alexis about continuing the this membership that she's doing? I did sign up for that because I thought, I do want to continue. And she just continues to give and give and give. And what I've seen through still being in contact with this October 2018 Prophets Canvas group, I see how much richer the course is getting. And so I think she's beholden to her early, because we were in many ways an experiment for her. And so I think that she feels compelled to keep us abreast of everything else that she's venturing into. And so it's if you read, you all saw the email, but if you sign up before January 1st, it's $25 a month. And I think between her and Nicholas Wilton's, I'm going to be set for a while. But did anyone else sign up?
Not
Not
yet.
at this time.
No? Okay. Yeah.
I think there was an underlying feeling here. It was too little, too late.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I jumped at the golden apple. I just, we'll see what happens. I think what really did me in was that technical support portion, and that she's feels compelled to give. And I can't fault her for continually improving her course. So for me, it was good. I can stay abreast. And now I do realize there are other vendors out there that are offering, but the one thing I have to say to Alexis's tech support, Megan is right on top of things, because I'm getting frustrated with the tech support for Janine Blackwell's course, because they're supposed to issue a module every Tuesday, and sometimes they're not getting the notification for it until Thursday. And the first call I received absolutely no notification of it. And I'm frustrated with that. I expect these things to be scheduled, and especially since she's had more time and experience to hone this program than Alexis has with hers, and yet she's not near what Alexis has offered, and Alexis isn't what Nicholas Wilton offers, you know, so baby steps, but
Yeah.
Can I just give you a small nugget of advice re Instagram?
sure.
Because I managed to build my list from August last year. I started through to now where I've got 1330 followers.
Oh.
1313?
Yeah, 1,300.
Fantastic.
Oh,
But
that's great.
But the two things that I do. One is I post every single morning. So I get up, I go to the bathroom, I wash my face, I clean my teeth, I go and sit on the edge of the bed and I post. It's part of my routine. It takes 7 days to build a habit. You just did 7 days. You've got all the information. You've got all that stuff that you can use.
I do.
The 31-day challenge. You've got stuff that you can do. Even if you do what I did and just do a sketch a day in a sketchbook to get you going, and you add that. But same time every day, within an hour or two of each other, because I don't always wake up at the same time. But that was the first thing. The other thing that happened was I started, and you'll see I now post in the evening. I've got an alarm set on my phone, which goes off at 4:30. If I miss that 4:30 slot, I don't do it much later. But I kind of, you've got to set yourself a time and do it at the same time every day. And it works.
Thank you, Alison. That's good advice.
Thank you, Alison.
You know, I'm just mystified about what I could post that's all that interesting, you know.
It doesn't matter. Okay. And it doesn't have to be your art. I mean, it can be, I don't know, a bush
inspiration
on the way to work that you just thought was beautiful, or a scarf you saw in a store. It doesn't matter. But it's that coming every single day at the same sort of time. That's what what works.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with you, Alison, because I'm not consistent. I only post when I'm inspired. And some days I can post 10 pictures a day, and then for 2 weeks I don't post anything.
You'd be better off doing
but
one.
Now,
yes.
But now all my, I mean, I just have all of these people, you know, that I mean, now my phone, I mean, I could spend a lifetime on the frickin' thing. So that's what upsets me a little.
I would turn off notifications. Go to your apps, your settings, and
just turn them off.
I don't have any notifications.
I disagree. Really? Sorry. While you're trying to build your list, you need to. There is an etiquette about working on Instagram, and that is if somebody likes your work, you go in and you like theirs back. When you've got 43,000 people, you can afford to ignore them. You've only got 2 at the moment, Michelle. You need to go into everybody's and like back.
Okay.
Well, yes, but you can see everybody who's liked your stuff and commented when you go inside.
Well, this is wonderful. One of the tweets, though, I mean, not tweets. One of the Instagram replies, this other group that I haven't unjoined yet, because now we're finally getting related. But there's a French woman, an artist, and she didn't know I was, until I posted that I was a Torpedo Factory artist. And she just said that one of the people she follows is Kelly O'Brien, who is one of our artist who's now in Germany, and who's a phenomenal. Just take a look at her work sometime. She's works mostly with, she's a printmaker, a bookmaker, you know, paper maker. She's Kelly O'Brien. She does beautiful work. And she's now, the reach of the Torpedo Factory extends. Every continent except Oceania and Antarctica, and like there are 26 languages spoken in this building. So
wow.
Out of that crowd, your Instagram should grow if you connect with the other artists in the Torpedo Factory.
And
everybody sees you. It's going to expand like crazy.
That's true.
I found that when I started implementing what I was taught from Amira Rahim that you should do on Instagram, it got overwhelming for me. And another thing that Alexis says, I think it was her that set it up front, is you've got to pick your social media hub that you want to focus on.
Yeah.
And I have come to feel like Instagram might be the better choice. Because it's visual and you just have to say a few things. But, you know, I feel like Facebook starts, to, unless you're going to do the ads, starts to limit, you know, who can see you. Not their algorithm necessarily, but who you're already connected to on there. I think you just have to pick what feels right for you. And I was mining for information on Pinterest last night. And there's even, if you want to know how to do Facebook ads, there you go to Pinterest and seek it, and it's there. All this stuff is there for how to brand yourself, how to, I mean, stuff that you need to know for putting yourself out there on the social hubs. It's all there on Pinterest in different little pockets. So I started a new file. I would say that Instagram will have plenty of that sort of information too on Pinterest if you wanted to go seek it as to what to do you know, with your time there.
Thank you. Well, I'm finding that Instagram, though, has a dual benefit because you can post these posts to your art page on Facebook. So you're building both platforms actually. And I needed to do that with Facebook as well. Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll find you on Instagram and.
Yeah. Shirley Ann, what about you?
I haven't done anything with my art this week. After the retreat on Saturday, I just felt very peaceful, very grounded. So,
did you already talk about it on Monday or?
Yes. Yeah. You weren't.
I'm sorry. You know, I'll listen to the video. So.
Oh, it's fine. It's fine. I went for a retreat with my coach and it was lovely. And I'd been carrying a lot of anxiety and feeling like I hadn't accomplished anything this year and, you know, the things that we do. And after the retreat, I'm just feeling so zen and just trusting that I was telling everyone that I hadn't been, apart from being with you ladies, you wonderful ladies, I haven't been in the company of women in a very long time. So the retreat was very affirming, grounding. So I've just been feeling very zen.
And now it's almost a week later, and so it's had lasting power. That's great.
Shirley, do you actually get to spend much time with people?
No.
There's a big scientific report that came out, probably about a year ago now, where they followed people in their 60s, 70s, and 80s, and those people, the people in their 80s are probably dead by now, but they followed them to find out what it was that made people live to be a great age. And do you know what the number one thing is?
Relationships.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's friendships.
Yeah. I'm sure. Are you talking about The Outliers? The book The Outliers?
Can't remember what it's called. Don't get technical.
But it's a lot of people refer to that book.
Yeah, it's that whole thing about social interaction, and you have to work at that as well, like you do any other relationship. Make sure that you have one day a week at least where you're spending some time with a girlfriend.
Yeah, Alison, I don't know. I don't understand it. I've tried. I've tried to connect, and oh my God, I've joined groups. I don't know. I don't understand it, but I'm still trying. I'm still trying. You know?
And at least you just that
Yes,
Maybe,
which is
maybe it's just that your requirements, the kind of people that you want to hang out with, are a certain type, and it's hard to find them. I understand that sort of. There's lots of groups I could join, but I just have an aversion to being in a large crowd of people. I would rather be with a few people that I really enjoy, and this is an introvert thing, and I've come to understand that. I'd love to be with people I enjoy, but don't put me in a large group of people where I have to listen to a lot of things I don't really want to be a part of.
And the politics that goes with large groups
yes.
as well.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, people ask me why I won't join the local artist guild. And the idea, I know I'd like a few of those people there, but all of the time wasted in going and getting there and listening to stuff I'd prefer not to be involved with. I think it's just you're being selective, you know.
And it's not even, you know, I try, I don't know, one of the groups which you would think I would fit in the most is the mummy group.
Yeah.
No, it's the worst. Horrible.
I swear there's a group on Capitol Hill called Mothers on the Hill.
Okay.
And they are like militant. I mean, you know, people that don't live in their geographical zone. And, you know, I had a friend that was just like 2 blocks outside our zone having her first baby. And this is a woman who just moved to Austin, Texas to take over. She is the head of all Texas charter schools. I mean, this woman had stats. And she couldn't get into the mommies group because she was 2 blocks outside the zone. And then all these, they have rules about giving things away. Like, like they have, you know, because this other woman that I walk with every morning, and she has 2 young children. And we always go on little duties that she has to pick up something from a porch of this mother and, you know, like a costume from this mother. And it was just ridiculous. I mean, the criteria, I'm sorry, but that's an aside.
No, it's true. It's true. Even though I have a son and my son is my whole life, I think with my identity, I still don't see myself as a mother. You know, and yeah. So a coach, one of my coaches told me that I was a snob.
That you were a what?
A snob.
A snob.
No.
I'm not a snob, but
no.
I don't know how to make empty talk. You know, I don't know how to do that.
You say, no, I'm not a snob, I'm shy. Don't be rude.
Exactly.
It's shiny.
But then when I do find, like with you ladies, when I do find, or like with the retreaters, actually, oh my goodness, I mean, they can't stop sending me messages because they keep on telling me that you really are Aphrodite. You really are. You know.
You are.
You know, but so when I'm in an environment where I can be myself, I can be all of me, and when I'm I can't, you know. So but then back to that, I'm just feeling very nourished, very grounded, trusting that everything is going to work out. You know, I'm not in a state of frenzy, which I've been in for a long time. So I'm grateful for that. And I've been working on your folders. So I've been going back to watch the videos, looking for all the nuggets, which has been fun. So.
I'm so impressed by all the time you put into that. I thought you know, not thinking very deeply, I thought you'd probably done it for everybody by now. But then the fact that you just did that for me as an example, my goodness. And as my comment underneath the posting was, you must be good at herding cats, because artists are hard to, gather up and set going all in the same direction. And just the fact that you put all that information together, my goodness, I'm impressed.
Thank
and
you.
you had to want to do it, and I'm like, that impresses me even more.
Yeah, I enjoy. This my coach was. I told them about you. I told them that so we had to do a roundup of the year because even though it doesn't look like a business coaching group, it is a business coaching group.
Yeah.
And I told them that one of my greatest accomplishments was this group, and it reminded me of qualities that I have which I had forgotten about. You know, and so she was like, why aren't you teaching like a business? I was like, no, I don't want to do that. No. I have no desire to be. But when it comes to what I'm doing here, it's a labor of love. I want to. So
I think we're your beta group.
Yeah.
We're your beta group. You're breaking the ice with us, perhaps,
for
whatever's coming next for you.
See, that's the thing. I know exactly what I want to do. And spending the time with the women on Saturday just affirmed it. I want to talk about love. and I want to be the one who gathers the great seductresses of our time. so so yeah, this is a hobby. So yeah, but thank you.
I love it.
Yes, let's go to Marianne's folder.
Yes.
Go to Marianne's folder.
I want to thank you for putting up those 2 branding quizzes, because it really did cause me to shift in actually to step back from what I was thinking and consider possibly going at this whole thing from a different angle.
I don't know why I haven't talked about the branding archetypes, because that's how I found Aphrodite. It's been my guiding light. I don't know why I didn't talk about them from the very beginning, but I discovered Aphrodite by finding out that I was the lover. And the more I read about the lover, that led me to the Greek archetypes, which are the foundation for these archetypes. And the more I researched it, the more I was like, oh my goodness, this is who I am. So I don't know why it hadn't occurred to me to bring it up till now, but I'm glad, I'm happy you resonated with that.
Very much so. I think it was a key piece of information. And it's not that I didn't know those odd facts separately, but the fact that it all kind of came together, and in both of those exercises came up with the same result, which, and as I told you, I took the first one twice because I'd sit there and I'd go, I've got 2 answers here that both apply. So I went back and took it a second time and answered it with the second answer that I didn't do the first time. And of course, the second archetype came up and was repeated with the second set of questions. And it caused me to sit back and really start to think, maybe I'm not approaching this whole thing in the right way. And that if I want to communicate, I might need to my natural thing may be from a whole different angle than, I don't necessarily see myself selling paintings. I think maybe it's just part of the entity and not the whole. So, thank you for interjecting that.
You're welcome. I'm happy. I'm happy that has been helpful. So let's go through. So I'm proposing that we go through step by step, and we all contribute as we go along to fill in the gaps where there are gaps. So I'll guide it.
Okay.
So the first, number 1, the most profound thing you said. I remember the day you said your art practice was a journey to self-acceptance. That was just it. You know how I felt. So, and would everybody else agree?
Yes.
Okay. Number 2, what's the story you want to tell with your art? Everywhere where I've put an asterisk is I'm not sure. So if you see an asterisk somewhere, it's something that it's a question. I don't know. So is that something you can answer right now, or do you want to think about it?
I feel like telling the story of coming from what I did that I thought was most acceptable, moving into a comfort zone of doing things that there was no guarantee that it would be accepted or liked. I guess gaining the courage to be authentic. I think that's what the path has been about.
Okay. Okay. That's brilliant. And I'm glad we're recording, as always. So we can go back and fill in this gap. So number 3, your quest. What have you said repeatedly, and what are you looking for? What I noticed, what you said repeatedly, is that you're looking for your passion. Would everyone else agree with that?
I'm sorry, what was that? Shirley looking for appreciation? Is that?
Passion. She's been seeking her passion.
Passion, yes.
Yes. Yes. So
yeah, you made a comment regarding that, which I hadn't even considered, in tying the writing into that, which I've never felt like I much wanted to write for people to read necessarily. But I've thought about that, and that maybe that would be a good entry for me to actually write about it, and then maybe throw some artwork in there with that.
That makes sense. That totally makes sense. So number 4, your why in your words. I don't know. We didn't record. I think we talked about the why in the very first videos, and I didn't record those.
So, yeah, that's being formulated in the next few weeks.
Okay.
I really hope to have that concrete.
Okay. All right. Okay, so we'll be looking forward to that. 5, your one-liner, which I took from what you wrote. Living the adventure of translating my mysterious, invisible world into a visible form of art.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah. Number 6, your mission. Now, with Alexis's course, I know she talked about our mission being basically what we're putting out into the world. But I feel there's more to it. So obviously there's nothing there because I didn't know what to put there. But I would be interested in seeing what you felt your mission. Is that something you can think about now? You can respond to now?
To uplift and inspire.
Okay.
It doesn't, that could come in many forms, but that's sort of bare bones.
Okay.
That's just to the core. And how to do it. I know when she talked about the mission statement, there was the next step was the next thing were the steps to create. And I'm not there yet.
Okay. Okay, that's clear. So number 7, how do you want to be seen? I didn't have an answer for that.
I'm thinking about that. That's sort of begun to shift with what we've had access to in the last few days. So how do I want to be seen? Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
Okay. All right. Question is there waiting for you. Number 8, what have people been drawn to in your work? I was very happy to be able to go back I remember the exact moment when you said it, so I could go back into the videos and transcribe that. You know, I thought that was very powerful and
Well,
concise.
I'd have to have people really tell me, but it seemed like it was the lightness, something to escape into. And I feel kind of like whatever I write about or do, it's going to have something to do with stepping away from the chaos in our outside world, giving a respite or a place to rest, sort of from it, and that'll mean whatever it means to different people.
Yeah. It seems like and what I love about it is there are these layers, there's repetition, but it shows the thread that runs through. So number 9, again, you see the asterisk. These are assumptions that I put together, but your ideal audience. Could your ideal audience be fellow explorers who are also seeking and searching? Do you take them along on your journey? Does your art give them a sense of calm as life constantly presents chaos? You just said that. This seeking, this searching. How do you feel about that?
I appreciate your writing that down because that sounds good to me. I also see the possibility of providing something for people who have been too hemmed in by their living their life in a conventional fashion. They've done all the things they're supposed to do. They've gotten married, they've had kids, they've had a job, they've run the carpool, they've been in the garden club, whatever, and they find themselves at a place of not being satisfied. Or there's something missing and they can't quite figure out what it is. And maybe it's not true. And I think it's tied to being authentic, not being able to truly be what they feel inside, that there's something else they need to express that they haven't given themselves permission to do.
That's brilliant. Yeah, that's brilliant. So 10, your value ladder and income goals. Again, I didn't have that, but I do remember you talking about large works, smaller works, and then products. Correct?
Yeah.
Wrong.
You tied in that the wealth dynamics, the third one, having passive income come from things. I think that's why I gave into the idea of giclées a few years back, and I used to just hate that idea. I mean, a friend of mine and I just used to talk about what an awful thing these are going to do to the art market, having these giclées. And then I started sitting back thinking, I don't have enough energy probably or time to produce enough work right now at a price tag that would completely support me. What could I do that would be a bread and butter item that I could paint it once and sell it 50 times? What could I do that would help me in that fashion? And that's when the thing about giclées, and then that person, the universe supplied the person and the way to do it. And then he did it for me, photographs for free. And he's extremely detailed. And it's like one of those it's a gift horse. I cannot turn and suddenly say this wasn't supposed to happen.
Yes.
This was supposed to happen. So I'm relaxing about the giclée thing and realizing maybe I should just do sets of them. So that there are certain groupings of them, and then there are originals that there are no giclées made of.
Yes.
Separated out somehow.
Yeah. And I was fascinated with that, how that tied into the Lord, because that's one of the focuses of the Lord. So as so many things you said have happened in your life through synchronicities.
Yes. Yes. I think one of the lessons I've had to learn is that, I say I have faith, but then there's another thing in actually having faith where you don't worry all the time. And there's been a low-grade worry underneath most of my world, most of my life. And it's only been in the last, I guess, year maybe that I've come to realize, didn't things just sort of happen to fall in place before you were thrown out on the street with a bag? Didn't things just happen to work out again and again and again? And it's what Dee talked about. You know, she to me was saying the same thing that I'm feeling, is that there's a guidance happening at all times. We just have to pay attention to it. You know, we can call it feminine intuition if you'd like, but that we know when we haven't paid attention, what happens. We know after the fact, why didn't you listen to that inner voice that told you to do something? So it's, you know, what I think I'm saying is similar to what she's saying, is that you're trying to live in that state of receptivity as much as you possibly can. And then just trust, and then just have faith. And that's what I'm trying to live, you know, trying to be more in it and have faith in it.
I think one of the big things here is that we need to realize that we have to have faith in ourselves.
Yeah.
That's the thing that women tend not to have.
Yeah.
Block out all those people that say you can't, you shouldn't, you mustn't, and just have faith that the path that you're on is, as in Alexis's words, exactly where you're meant to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why we need each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
11, your challenges. You're very clear in talking about managing your time and the effect of social media. And then what you talked about, a ritual to begin your day. You know, either creating the small works, you know, something to make you feel accomplished on a daily basis.
Yeah, I've had many of them at different times that I've started with, and I'm notorious for getting about 3 or 4 weeks in and dropping it and going back to something else. I just very few things have I stuck with for long periods of time.
Boy, do I hear you.
Argentine tango has been one thread that even if I left classes for a while or I couldn't afford to go to all the events, I still came back to it because there was an intensity in it and a group like us that I could get together with, and we knew each other well enough to relax. And you know, finding that level of commitment or intensity, that's not been that common for me. I tend to bounce around.
Something I'm finding in my own life, I feel the broader I allow my life to be, the more poignant my art will be. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yes.
You know, and as I was going through yours, I find that that's, you know, just focusing solely, you know, with this tunnel vision on the art, it puts too much pressure on it.
It does.
It
does.
So, yeah, I think that's it. So, your wealth dynamics, I put in the main statements. Obviously, the videos are there and everything, but your first one is the mechanic, and I perfect the system. Does that resonate with you and your personality?
When they talk further about it, yes, it like I said on Monday, it really mechanics tend to sit back and absorb. They watch what everybody else is doing, and then they formulate from everybody else's experience and take it and make something that works for them. You know, they aren't necessarily the person that comes up with something original. It's usually a distillation of what they've absorbed. So yeah, that definitely, you know, I tend to be cautious. So I'm rarely going out there with a brand new something that's never been tried before. I'm usually producing something that might be a better solution, or at least one that fits my life.
Okay. Now that you've articulated it that way, it's so evident that that's who you are. You know. So yeah. I think we all have the creator. The creator, I make ideas come alive. You know, that's as clear as a day. And then I was really interested in the Lord because I don't have the Lord anywhere near me. So to read about that, it's where the things to put in place for a passive income makes sense.
Yeah, I think that I like that because it gives me freedom to not be tied to I don't use an easel, but to be tied to the easel all the time because I don't like that. I don't like a regimented life. I've never been a 9 to 5 person. So I want as much freedom, and that's the explorer thing again. I want as much
Yes.
freedom as I can get in my experience. So I need something making a passive income for me.
Absolutely.
It has to be working while I'm not working. So.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so interesting when all the pieces come together. It's fascinating. Your brand archetype, the first, I was so excited when I realized you were the explorer because again, it makes sense. You know. So the explorer, your goal is to experience a better, more authentic, more fulfilling life. Freedom.
Yeah.
Your biggest fear, getting trapped, conformity, and inner emptiness. That's
Commitment phobic,
Mhm,
especially with relationships.
mhm,
So
mhm,
I live in a very loose relationship. Monogamous, yes, but we live in separate houses.
mhm,
I like
mhm.
my freedom.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Um, Weaknesses, aimless wandering, becoming a misfit.
Yeah.
Talent, autonomy, ambition, being true to one's soul. We've seen that with you from the very beginning. Being this desire to be true to your soul. Also known as the seeker. Again, going back to you seeking your passion. Wander, individualist, pilgrim, trailblazer, pioneer, adventurer. Your voice. Let's really look at these. So your voice when it comes to communicating with the world. Open-minded, resourceful, tolerant. That shows. What your customers feel. Again, the layers are all there. Your customers feel adventurous, cultured, I have no limits, amazed, alive. So when I come back to your paintings and what you talked about with your art and the intent, everything is aligning. Do you agree with me? Does everyone else agree? Okay.
Yeah. I think
Um,
it's very powerful that you put this all in one spot. What a
mhm,
gift that
mhm.
for somebody as bouncing off the wall as I can tend to be. I really appreciate all that you put together for this because what a perfect moment for that all to be concentrated right now
Mhm.
as I start to put down the words I want to say to people and the way
Yes.
I want to communicate it. So it's been a true Christmas present, Shirley Ann.
Oh, my
Thank you.
pleasure. My pleasure. I'm happy. I'm happy it's all coming together. It's working. So your second archetype is the alchemist. How do you feel about the alchemist, magician alchemist?
The I think one of the quizzes had just slight different. The first one, Ceres, is it? Ceres Mooney.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was very interesting her take on what that is. The second quiz had just a little bit different, but they're the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
The alchemist and the magician.
Okay.
And yes, that sounds like what I've been aiming at.
Mm-hmm.
Though
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it will take form.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's been there since I was a child. And I've
Mm-hmm.
started thinking about stories from when I was a child that are actually kind of embarrassing, or at least I thought they were embarrassing. Now I think maybe I need to relate those because it
Mm-hmm.
was a little bit odd, some of the things that I used to do as a child. I had rituals
Mm-hmm.
and things out in nature that nobody came along and told me how to do. I was just doing it.
That's
So I think there's stuff to be said.
that's fascinating. Wonderful. Okay. So your goal to make dreams come true, understand the laws of the universe. You've been talking about that from the very beginning, you know.
Yeah.
Your greatest fear, unintended negative consequences.
Yeah.
Your weakness, becoming manipulative. Talent, finding win-win solutions, imagining a better future. Um, Also known as the visionary, catalyst, inventor, charismatic, leader, shaman, leader, medicine woman, intuitive, wizard, inventor, transformer. Your voice, expansive, moving, articulate. And then what customers feel, I want to experience that. So we want to experience what you are experiencing, you know. I'm on the cutting edge, fascinated, enchanted. You know, again, I see that in your art. Okay, so the next section, I would like all of us, after we've done this, you know, maybe we don't necessarily have to do it on the call, but I would love all of us to go through everybody's folder and, you know, tell us what you feel, what you see. I think that would be such a precious contribution because, as you know, we're all too close to it.
Yeah.
So this is a very important section.
So do you want us to write and tell you? So I'm looking at 14. You're saying, what do you see? So you're asking me to write to you and tell you what I see about
Marianne, her art, her brand, this whole journey. Yes.
Oh, can it be anonymous?
No.
Allison, you can say whatever you want.
So good.
So 15, you know, I had ideas for opt-ins for everyone. I couldn't think of anything for you. I don't know why, you know. And as you'll see with all the folders, you know, for everyone it's different. Even though
I can think of some now, but I'm not quite got the courage to do it.
Okay.
Do it.
You want me to tell you what it would be doing?
Yeah.
It would be taking my hobby and putting it more forefront.
And your hobby being?
I'm astrology.
Okay.
Since I was 13 years old.
Why don't we see that in your art?
That makes sense. You know,
I don't know how to do it without it being contrived in my art.
So you see, this goes back to what I was saying. I feel the looser we can be with our expression, you know, maybe that will just be about your writing and who you are, right?
Yeah.
And as you create your art, we from a distance may be able to connect the dots. You know, you don't have to keep on putting this puzzle together. You just share who you are with us.
Yeah, it's our job to interpret what you've put. It's not your job to interpret it for us.
Exactly.
Yeah. One of the things that was interesting that I read from one of the quizzes was that I needed to get out of the habit of sharing everything up front, which is my blunt, normal self. I will give you everything I know in a concise statement instead of drawing you in. It said that I needed to learn how to tell stories. And that I needed to learn how to give just enough, and not be responsible for what was done with it after the fact, which that's been, you know, that fear of having negative consequences happen. If I've kept my mouth shut so many times in my life because I wanted to avoid negative consequences of what telling somebody what might happen from it.
Yeah.
Can I just jump in here and say, I get that because that's self-preservation, but have you ever, any of you, in fact, because this is a nice, wonderful exercise to do, taken a bunch of things, painted them white, put them inside a white box, and then drawn them with as few lines as you possibly can?
No.
Because what that does is it makes you understand the concept that We don't need to put everything out there. You only need to put a few, whether it's with writing a story or anything really. You only need to give your audience, not your friends, a taste of what it is that you're trying to communicate, and let them work the rest out for themselves.
Okay.
Oh.
And it's I mean, somebody taught me to do it. It was a really, really valuable exercise. And when I get stuck and I'm trying to do something and it's really fiddly, and then you think, hang on a minute, I don't need to do that. They can figure that bit out for themselves. I just need to draw a couple of lines. So it might be worth thinking about that. Particularly, I mean, if your passion is astrology, I want to see that in the work that you're producing. But you don't have to tell me the whole story. You just need to tell me enough for me to say, wow, that's interesting, and I see this in it. It won't be what you put in it. It's what I interpret in it.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. That's brilliant. So coming back to your opt-in, ideally, what would you like your main opt-in to be? Because again, what we've experienced is that people have like the mothership opt-in, and then they have these little opt-ins scattered all over the place, which are, you know, tiny tidbits of things. But let's talk about the main one. Coming back to what you said, what would that be?
I'm not certain at this moment.
Okay.
I had an idea come to me, and it's sort of like a jewel, I think, when it comes to being a great painter. It's the power of gray. And people say gray, oh man, that's dull. Why on earth would you think grays were important? Well, they don't understand what gray really is. Gray is the combining of opposites on the wheel, and then adding white to it. And the grays become luxurious and subtle, and they set off bold color. But it's one of the I'm sure, Michelle, on some level you can relate to what I'm saying here, the lesson of how to use grays and how to keep adding one color to another to make your painting simpler and more sophisticated. That whole idea, that to me is like such a jewel that people don't really understand until somebody explains it to them, the power of fewer colors used a little bit more sophisticatedly.
It's a bit like when you sketch, to have a large area that has nothing in it.
Right.
It's big volumes. The same kind of thing.
Yeah, the power of negative space.
Yeah.
You know, it's all those little things that people just don't even, if you know it, you don't think about it. But when people, you don't think about it. But if you've never had design and composition, and there are a lot of people out there that have not, you know, those are just small things to give them to think about.
Yeah.
You know, and I have thought about doing small opt-ins with the magic of this and the magic of that. You know, just one of the design rules, one of the things that, of course, they may know it, but maybe they don't.
Yeah. Okay. That I love that, because again, it's more aligned with The Alchemist, where you're showing us things that we wouldn't see on our own. You know, so that's wonderful. Okay. So 17, your basic tech checklist. We just talked about that. Whether you're going to go with Shopify, is it going to be MailChimp or something else? Your favorite social media? Is there a second favorite, etc., etc.?
Yeah, as I was digging into Pinterest last night, I started on a thread, and this is how it goes. I kept pulling and pulling and pulling till I had a rope, and it was all having to do with branding. And you're finding all of this stuff, how to do this and how to do that, and color schemes, and here's how to do ads on Facebook. And I'm sure if I put an Instagram, it'd be coming up like crazy on what to do on Instagram and what works, you know. And then, you know, Pinterest is such an addiction. I mean, if you let it, oh my gosh.
It is.
You know, and I don't know how I would use it necessarily right now, but I still think, gosh, Allison, it's a legitimate thing to look at.
It's time, isn't it, though?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's time.
Okay, so 18, this is something you would have to tell us. Maybe you can take your time and fill it in. we all know there are things we can do to move forward, and we either need encouragement to do them or clarity. So if you could tell us what those three things are, and I'm sorry I'm rushing, but I have to go soon.
Oh,
So,
just get things down in writing,
yes.
flesh it out,
Yeah.
and pick the platform
Okay.
and make the commitment to the money, because as with everything, a certain amount of per month, is a commitment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So if you could put those in, 19. We don't like asking for support. Raise my hand first. But
Yeah.
think about us as individuals and tell us individually, not as a group, what do you think? How could each of us support you individually? It could be anything, so that's something to take your time and write. And then 20, this is also something you're going to take your time and share with us. What are you committed to? Again, I don't like the word accountability. So, what can we hold you in love to um, in the coming year? Okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Rich, I still believe strongly in Rich Litvin's exercise. Um, as I've written here, I believe his exercise establishes the know, like, and trust factor.
Mm-hmm.
Because it expresses our vulnerabilities, but it also shows our expertise. And so if you could do the exercise, I think that would be wonderful.
Did you post this, a
Pardon?
link to this? Did you post a link to this exercise?
It's the video with the coach. The one where he was coaching two people and he went through the questions. What are your
yes.
You remember that one?
Yes.
I can post the link below this, no problem. Number 22, what have you learned this year, especially on our journey together? I don't know if you can answer it now, or do you want to take your time and answer?
I'll come back to that.
Okay.
I will come through these things and write them down. I'll post them.
Okay. 23, in January, what do you want to run with? You have a deadline, so that seems to be
You'll hear about it.
Okay. 24, what would feel like accomplishment at the end of 2019, like next year by this time? What would feel like, oh, this has been a wonderful year, I've accomplished this? I think that will require some thought too. And then the final question, which I love. Imagine 100 years from now and your work is at the Louvre. What are we saying about you? What are people saying about you and your art? So
That'll
again,
take some thought.
Something to play with.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, yes, I hope this has been beneficial.
Extremely.
And it looks like there will be a revision. Again, we're figuring this out, but yes, I would love for all of us to go through this.
I look forward to seeing everybody else's. I think we'll know each other even better when we get to read through everyone else's.
Yeah. So I once you give me all the information, I should have, because I'm almost done. I just need the final tests and your favorite paintings so that it looks pretty.
Oh, crumbs, I haven't done that, have I?
And yeah, so we'll continue. So I should have all of them. As long as you send me the information, I should have everything posted by Monday, and then we can continue. Okay.
Super.
So,
thank you again.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for being on the journey together.
You're welcome. I think you're quite a catalyst.
Pardon?
You're quite a catalyst yourself, since you instigated this whole thing in the beginning.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm proud. I'm happy. I'm proud. I'm proud of it. I am.
You should be.
Yeah.
Michelle, your speaker is off.
You had said at the very beginning, Shirley, that you wanted to be influential or a person of influence and impact. And I think this group has proven that in spades. You know, it is. It's just been remarkable what you've been able to accomplish. Thank you.
Thank you. That means a lot to me. Thank you. Thank you.
I clearly missed a lot Monday, missing Monday's call. So I'm going to have to, because this was all new.
This is a Monday. This is a lot. I've watched all the videos from beginning to end. So yeah, again, I have everything. And Michelle, I think you've given me your test results. So I just needed your favorite painting. You've seen what I've done with Marianne. Just something to put in there, so that when you go in there, you just feel
okay.
Yeah, that's all.
She's gonna lay you out for all of us to see, just
I
like
know. It's like drawn and quartered. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll tell you. This morning you gave me everything, so I should be done. So, Allison, I'll be waiting. All right. Okay, I have to run.
It doesn't have to be a piece of my work.
Pardon?
It doesn't have to be a piece of my work, does it?
No, it has to be.
Has to be a piece of my work.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I was sending you. Oh, okay.
You know, it would be a tough thing because I have different favorites for different reasons, and they're in different genres. So there's no cohesive thread, and it would look like so discombobulated. I mean, my studio already looks like I'm schizophrenic enough. So
you need to create a collage of your favorites, anything, just something.
Okay.
Yeah, anything.
Okay.
Okay. Well, have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you.
You too.
You too.
I'm going to go and have some champagne.
Thank you so much.
Yay!
You
should.
I'll have a drink for you.
Yes.
I'll think about having a drink. Take care, ladies.
All right.
Have a good weekend.
Bye, folks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.